Maya had always been the curious type. While other kids her age were busy with social media and drama, she found herself fascinated by documentaries about different cultures and far-off places. So when her homeroom teacher announced that their school would be hosting an exchange student from a remote region called Velthera, Maya was the first to raise her hand. "I'll be her buddy," Maya said without hesitation. Her teacher smiled and handed her a folder with basic information about the incoming student. The name on the file was Kira, age 17. Just like Maya, but that was about all the information they had. The rest of the details were surprisingly vague. No photos, no family background. Just a note that said she came from a very isolated community with unique customs. When the day finally arrived, Maya waited by the main entrance with a handmade welcome sign. She expected to see a typical exchange student, maybe wearing traditional clothing or carrying interesting souvenirs from her homeland. What she didn't expect was the girl who walked through those doors. Kira was breathtaking in a way that made you forget to breathe. Her skin had an almost porcelain quality, so pale it seemed to glow under the fluorescent lights. Her hair fell in silver waves that caught the light like spun moonbeams. But it was her eyes that truly stopped Maya in her tracks. They were the deepest violet Maya had ever seen, like looking into twilight itself. "You must be Maya," Kira said, her voice carrying a musical quality that made even simple words sound like poetry. "I am Kira. Thank you for volunteering to help me navigate this place." The way she spoke was formal, almost ancient sounding, like she was translating everything in her head before speaking. Maya found it charming, though she noticed other students staring as they walked down the hallway. "So, where exactly is Velterra?" Maya asked as they headed to first period. "I tried looking it up online, but couldn't find much." Kira paused for just a moment too long. "It is very remote. Few people know of it. We prefer to keep to ourselves." She gestured around the busy hallway. "This is all quite overwhelming. So many people in one place." Maya noticed that Kira seemed to analyze everything with scientific precision. She watched how students interacted, tilted her head when listening to conversations, and even examined the water fountain like she was studying some fascinating artifact. During lunch, things got even more interesting. Kira stared at her sandwich like it was a puzzle she needed to solve. She took tiny, careful bites, chewing thoughtfully before swallowing. When Maya offered her some chips, Kira examined the bag intensely, before politely declining. "The salt content seems excessive," Kira explained matter-of-factly. "In my homeland, we consume very different foods." "What kind of foods?" Maya asked, genuinely curious. "Things that grow in different conditions. More pure forms of nutrition." Kira's answers were always vague, but Maya attributed it to language, barriers, or cultural differences. The really weird stuff started showing up in the following days. Maya began noticing that Kira never seemed tired. While Maya would yawn during morning classes, Kira was always alert and focused. She also had this uncanny ability to predict when it would rain, often pulling out an umbrella on sunny days that would turn stormy within the hour. "How do you always know?" Maya asked one day, as they huddled under Kira's umbrella while other students ran for cover. "I can feel the pressure changes," Kira said simply. "Can't you?" Maya shook her head, laughing.
No.
"I can barely feel when I'm hungry." But the strangest thing was how Kira seemed to know things she shouldn't. "What?" Maya, exactly what time it was, without looking at a clock. She knew when tests were coming before teachers announced them. She even seemed to sense Maya's moods before Maya understood them herself. "You're troubled about something," Kira said one day during study hall. "Your energy feels heavy." Maya looked up from her math homework, surprised. "I didn't say anything." "Don't need to. I can sense it." Kira's violet eyes showed genuine concern. "In my culture, we're taught to read the emotional atmosphere around us." "You're worried about your parents' argument last night?" Maya's pencil stopped moving. She had never mentioned her parents' fight to anyone. How could you possibly know that? "The way you carry yourself today, the tension in your shoulders, the way you keep checking your phone," Kira's observations were gentle but accurate. "Would you like to talk about it?" The first time since the arguing started at home, Maya felt like someone truly understood. There was something about Kira that made her feel safe, like she could share her deepest worries without judgment, but it was also unsettling. How could someone from a remote village have such insight into human behavior? And why did Kira sometimes speak like she was observing humans from the outside? The breakthrough came during Maya's most difficult week. Her parents' arguments had gotten worse, her grades were slipping, and she felt like everything was falling apart. She found herself hiding in the library during lunch, trying not to cry over her chemistry textbook. That's when Kira found her. "You're in pain," Kira said, sitting down beside her without invitation. Deep, soul-level pain. Maya looked up, her eyes already red from holding back tears. "I'm fine." "No, you're not." Kira's voice was softer now, more human somehow. "That's perfectly acceptable. Pain is not something to hide from, it's just ... "Everything feels wrong right now," Maya whispered. "My parents hate each other, I'm failing chemistry, and I feel like I don't belong anywhere." Kira was quiet for a long moment. Then something unexpected happened. A single tear rolled down her perfect cheek. "I understand feeling like you don't belong," Kira said quietly. "More than you know." Maya had never seen Kira show such raw emotion. The girl who seemed to have everything figured out was crying right alongside her. Without thinking, Maya pulled a tissue from her backpack and offered it to her new friend. "Thank you," Kira said, accepting the tissue. "In my homeland, we don't often show tears to others. It's considered ... vulnerable. Well, here it's totally normal," Maya said, managing a small smile. "Welcome to Earth, where we cry over everything." For the first time since they'd met, Kira laughed. Really laughed. Not the polite, measured responses she usually gave, but genuine musical laughter that seemed to light up the entire library. "Welcome to Earth," Kira repeated, smiling. I like that phrase. From that moment, something shifted between them. Formal barriers Kira had maintained began to crumble. She started asking Maya about normal teenage things like movies and music. She wanted to understand why humans found certain things funny or sad. Maya found herself looking forward to their conversations more than anything else in her day. Kira had this way of making even ordinary moments feel special, like they were discovering the world together. But even as their friendship deepened, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that there was something Kira wasn't telling her. The way she talked about her homeland, her unusual abilities, her otherworldly beauty, it all pointed to secrets that Maya was only beginning to glimpse. Little did she know that her life was about to change in ways she never could have imagined. Winter had settled over the school, and Maya found herself spending more and more time with Kira. What started as simple buddy duties had grown into something deeper. They would sit together during lunch, walk home together after school, and spend hours talking about everything and nothing. But the more time Maya spent with Kira, the more questions she had. Like why Kira never seemed to get cold, even when snow was falling and other students were bundled up in heavy coats. Or why she always knew exactly when the school bell would ring down to the second. "You're staring at me again," Kira said one afternoon, as they sat in Maya's bedroom, supposedly working on homework, but mostly just talking. "Sorry," Maya laughed, closing her history textbook. "I was just thinking about how different your homeland must be from here." Kira's expression grew. Distant. Very different. The architecture, the technology, the way people interact with each other, everything operates on different principles. Well, Kira seemed to choose her words carefully. "Where I come from, we believe that emotions are sacred. We don't hide them or pretend they don't exist. We also believe that connections between people are the most important thing in the universe." Maya found herself leaning forward, fascinated. "That sounds beautiful." "It is," Kira said softly. "It also means that when we care about someone, we care completely. There are no half measures in my culture." Over the following weeks, Kira began sharing more stories about her homeland. She described cities that seemed to be made of crystal and light, where buildings grew rather than being constructed. She talked about advanced methods of healing that didn't require medicine. and transportation that didn't pollute the environment. Sounds like paradise, Maya said one evening as they watched the sunset from Maya's bedroom window. In many ways it is, Kira replied. But paradise can also be lonely when you're different from everyone else. Different how? Kira was quiet. For a long moment, I've always been more curious about other worlds, other ways of life. Most of my people are content with what we have. I wanted to understand more. Maya noticed that Kira never mentioned her family or friends from home. When Maya asked about them, Kira would change the subject or give vague answers. It was like she was carrying some kind of sadness that she couldn't share. As the months passed, Maya began to notice that Kira seemed to be struggling with something. She would stare out windows with a look of deep longing, or pause mid-conversation as if listening to something Maya couldn't hear. "Are you homesick?" Maya asked one day during lunch. "It's complicated," Kira said, poking at her salad. "Certain things about home, but I also love it here. I love learning about human culture, about the way you all find joy in simple things." "What do you mean? Like how you laugh at funny videos, or how excited you get about pizza night, or how you sing along to songs even when you don't know all the words perfectly?" Kira's violet eyes sparkled. "Where I come from, we don't have that kind of spontaneous happiness." Maya felt a warm glow at Kira's words. "Well, I'm glad you're here to experience all our weird human habits." "So am I," Kira said, and something in her voice made Maya's heart skip a beat. The change in their relationship happened gradually. They started sitting closer together during their study sessions. Kira would absently play with Maya's hair while they watched movies. Maya found herself looking forward to their time together more than anything else in her day. One cold February evening, as they sat cross-legged on Maya's bed with textbooks scattered around them, Kira suddenly became very serious. Maya, I need to tell you something important," she said, her hands fidgeting with the edge of her sweater. "What is it?" "In my culture, we have a tradition. When someone becomes truly important to us, when they prove themselves to be trustworthy and kind, we give them a special gift." Kira reached into her backpack and pulled out a small wooden box. It was unlike anything Maya had ever seen, carved with intricate patterns that seemed to shift and dance in the lamplight. "This is for you," Kira said, her voice trembling slightly. "But before you open it, I need you to understand that this isn't just a friendship bracelet or a souvenir. Where I come from, this gift carries deep meaning." Maya carefully opened the box, and her breath caught in her throat. Inside was the most beautiful bracelet she had ever seen. It appeared to be made of some kind of metal that shifted between silver and gold, depending on the angle. Strange symbols were etched along its surface, and it seemed to pulse with its own inner light. "Kira, this is incredible," Maya whispered, afraid to touch something so obviously precious. "But I can't accept this. It must be worth a fortune." "Its value isn't monetary," Kira said, moving closer. "Maya, you've been kinder to me than anyone has ever been. You accepted me when others stared. You listened when I needed to talk. You made me feel like I belonged somewhere." Maya felt tears pricking her eyes. "You're my best friend, Kira. Of course I did those things." "That's exactly why you deserve this," Kira said, carefully lifting the bracelet from the box. "In my culture, we call this a trust bond. It's given to someone who has proven themselves worthy of our deepest respect and affection." The bracelet felt warm in Maya's hands, and she could swear she felt a gentle humming sensation coming from it. "What are these symbols?" "They're blessings," Kira explained. "For protection, for wisdom, for connection. When you wear this, you'll carry a piece of my homeland with you always." Maya looked up at Kira, who was watching her with an intensity that made her heart race. "Are you sure you want me to have this?" "I've never been more sure of anything," Kira said softly. "But Maya, I need you to understand something. This isn't just symbolic. In my culture, when someone accepts a trust bond, it means they're willing to be connected to the giver in a very real way." "Connected how?" Kira seemed to struggle with her words. "It's hard to explain in your language, but it means that we'll always be able to sense each other's well-being. You'll know when I'm happy or sad, and I'll know the same about you. It's a deep form of friendship that my people consider sacred." Maya felt a shiver run down her spine. There was something in Kira's tone that suggested this was even more significant than she was letting on. But looking at her friend's hopeful, nervous expression, Maya couldn't bring herself to refuse. "I'd be honored to wear it," Maya said, holding out her wrist. Kira's hands shook slightly as she fastened the bracelet around Maya's wrist. The moment the clasp closed, Maya felt a strange sensation, like electricity flowing through her veins. The bracelet seemed to mold itself to her wrist, fitting perfectly as if it had been made specifically for her. "How does it feel?" Kira asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Warm," Maya said, surprised, "and it's tingling a little." "Is that normal?" Kira's violet eyes were glowing brighter than usual. "Yes, that means it's bonding with you." "Maya, I want you to promise me something." "What? Promise me you'll wear it?" "Tonight, don't take it off, even to sleep. Tomorrow, if you still want to wear it, then we'll know the bond is complete." Maya nodded, though she wasn't entirely sure what she was agreeing to. "I promise." As the evening wore on, Maya found herself absently touching the bracelet. It had stopped tingling, but it still felt warm and somehow alive against her skin. She caught Kira watching her several times, with an expression that mixed hope and terror. "Are you okay?" Maya asked. "You seem nervous." "Fine," Kira said, but her smile didn't reach her eyes. "Just ... excited for you to experience what this means." When it was time for Kira to leave, she hugged Maya longer than usual. "Thank you for trusting me," she whispered against Maya's ear. "Sleep well, and whatever you do, don't take off the bracelet." As Maya watched Kira disappear into the night, she touched the bracelet again. Whatever this trust bond meant in Kira's culture, it was clearly more important than a simple friendship gift. And as Maya drifted off to sleep that night, the bracelet, pulsing gently against her wrist, she had no idea that her life was about to change in ways she never could have imagined. Maya woke up to the sound of frantic knocking on her bedroom window. She blinked, confused and groggy, trying to figure out what was happening. The digital clock on her nightstand read 6:47 a.m., and she could hear her parents moving around downstairs. Getting ready for work, the knocking came again, more urgent this time. Maya stumbled to the window and nearly fell backward when she saw Kira standing on the small roof outside her second-floor bedroom. Her friend's usually perfect hair was disheveled, and her violet eyes were wide with what looked like panic. "Kira," Maya whispered, quickly opening the window. "What are you doing out there? How did you even get up here?" Kira practically tumbled through the window, landing gracefully despite her obvious distress. "Maya, we need to talk. Right now." "It's not even 7 in the morning," Maya said, still trying to wake up properly. "And how did you climb up to my window? There's no ladder or anything." "That's not important right now," Kira said, pacing back, and forth across Maya's small bedroom like a caged animal. "What's important is that bracelet." Maya looked down at her wrist. The bracelet was still there, just as beautiful as the night before. But now it was glowing with a soft, steady light that definitely hadn't been there yesterday. "Oh wow, it's glowing. Is that supposed to happen?" Kira stopped pacing and stared at Maya with a mixture of awe and terror. "You wore it. Actually wore it through the entire night." "Yeah, you told me to," Maya said, confused by Kira's reaction. "You said not to take it off, remember?" "I hoped you would, but I didn't think." "You actually would," Kira said, running her hands through her silver hair. "Do you have any idea what you've done?" Maya sat down on her bed, suddenly feeling very awake. "Kira, you're starting to scare me." "What's going on?" Kira took a deep breath and sat down beside her. "Maya, I need to tell you something, and you're going to think I'm completely out of my mind?" "Try me," Maya said, though her heart was starting to race. "I'm not from any country on Earth," Kira said quietly. "I'm not even from this planet." Maya blinked. "What?" "I know how it sounds, but please just listen," Kira said, her voice shaking. "I'm from a place called Velthera, but it's not some remote village. It's a world very far from here, my people. We've been studying Earth for a long time, and I was sent here as part of a cultural exchange program." Maya stared at her friend, trying to process what she was hearing. "You're telling me you're an alien?" "I prefer interplanetary exchange student," Kira said with a weak smile. "But yes, essentially." "This is insane," Maya said, standing up. and starting to pace herself. You're telling me my best friend is from outer space? I know it sounds crazy, but think about it, Kira said. All the things that seem strange about me. The way I never get tired, how I always know what time it is, how I can predict the weather. The way I talked about my homeland, like it was completely different from anything you knew. Maya's mind raced back through all their conversations. All. The little things that had seemed odd but that she'd dismissed. The way you analyze everything like you're studying it for the first time. Because I was, Kira said. Everything here is new to me. The way humans interact, the way you express emotions, even the way you eat food. I've been learning about your species through books and observations, but actually living among you has been incredible. My species? Maya said, the words feeling strange in her mouth. You really are serious about this. I've never been more serious about anything, Kira said. And Maya, that bracelet you're wearing? It's not just a friendship gift from my culture, it's a bonding device. Maya looked down at the glowing bracelet on her wrist. What kind of bonding device? When someone from my world gives a bonding bracelet to another person, and that person wears it for a full sleep cycle, it creates a permanent connection between them, Kira explained. It's the most sacred bond in our culture. It means that the two people are linked for life. Linked how? I asked, though she was starting to get a sinking feeling. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, Kira said. We'll be able to sense each other's feelings, know when the other is in danger, find each other across any distance. It's meant to be shared between life partners. Maya felt like the room was spinning. Life partners. Kira, are you saying we're married or something? Not married exactly, but something deeper than that, Kira said. In my culture, bonded partners are considered to be two halves of the same soul. They're expected to stay together and support each other through everything. And you gave this to me without telling me what it really was? Maya asked, her voice rising. I told you it was a trust bond, that it would connect us, Kira said defensively. I didn't think you'd actually wear it all night. Most humans would have taken it off to shower or sleep. But I promised you I wouldn't take it off, Maya said. You knew what would happen if I kept that promise. Kira's violet eyes filled with tears. I hoped it would happen, but I was too scared to tell you the truth. I was afraid you'd think I was crazy, or that you'd reject me. Maya sat back down heavily, staring at the bracelet. So what happens now? Are we stuck like this forever? The bond can't be broken, Kira said, quietly. And Maya, there's something else. I was only supposed to be here for 1 Earth year. My people are expecting me to return home in 3 months. And now I've formed a sacred bond with a human, Kira said. My people are going to think I've completely lost my mind. Bonding with someone from another species has never happened before. Maya looked at her friend, this person who had become so important to her over the past months. What are you going to tell them? I don't know, Kira admitted. Bonded partners are supposed to stay together. But how can I ask you to leave your entire world behind? How can I abandon my responsibilities to my people? Wait, Maya said, something occurring to her. You said you can sense my emotions now? Kira nodded. And you should be able to sense mine, once you learn how. Maya closed her eyes and tried to focus. First, she felt nothing different. But then, slowly, she became aware of something new. It was like having another person's feelings overlapping with her own. She could sense Kira's fear, her guilt, her hope, and underneath it all, a deep affection that made Maya's heart race. I can feel it, Maya whispered, opening her eyes. I can feel what you're feeling. What am I feeling right now? Kira asked. Scared, Maya said, but also ... happy and something else, something warm and strong. That's how much you mean to me, Kira said softly. That's why I gave you the bracelet, even though I knew it might complicate everything. Maya looked at the bracelet again, watching the way it pulsed with light. So we're really connected now? Like permanently? Permanently, Kira confirmed. Maya, I'm so sorry. I should have told you everything before I gave it to you. Are you sorry it happened? Maya asked. Kira was quiet for a long moment. No, she said finally. I'm not sorry it happened. I'm just sorry I wasn't brave enough to be honest with you from the beginning. Maya stood up and walked to her window, looking out at the ordinary suburban street where she'd lived her whole life. Everything looked the same. but she felt completely different. She could sense Kira's emotions like background music in her mind, and the bracelet on her wrist hummed with energy that felt both foreign and familiar. So what happens now? Maya asked, turning back to face her friend. What do we do with this bond? I don't know, Kira said. This has never happened before. My people don't have protocols for bonding with humans, Maya said, surprising herself with how calm she felt. I guess we'll figure it out together. Kira's face lit up with hope. You're not angry? Confused, overwhelmed, and maybe a little scared, Maya admitted. But angry? No, you're my best friend, Kira. Whether you're from this planet or another one doesn't change that. I accidentally bonded us for life. Maya looked at the bracelet on her wrist, feeling the warm connection to Kira flowing through. Even though you accidentally bonded us for life, for the first time since she'd climbed through the window, Kira smiled. So what do we do now? Now, Maya said, you tell me everything about your world and we figure out how to handle this mess together. Over the next few days, Maya's life turned completely upside down. Not in a bad way, but in a way that made her question everything she thought she knew about the universe. Kira had agreed to meet her after school every day to explain more about her world and what their bond actually meant. They found a quiet spot in the park near Maya's house, a small gazebo that was usually empty in the late afternoon. It became their secret meeting place, where Kira could speak freely about her true origins without worrying about being overheard. So let me get this straight, Maya said on the third day, sitting cross-legged on the gazebo floor. Your planet has floating cities? Not floating exactly, Kira explained, her eyes lighting up as she talked about home. They're built on crystalline formations that grow from the ground. The crystals generate their own energy, so our cities are completely self-sustaining. Maya shook her head in amazement. And everyone there can do the things you do? Like knowing what time it is without looking at a clock. That's actually pretty basic, Kira said with a small laugh. We're taught from childhood to be aware of energy patterns. Time, weather, emotions, they all create different types of energy that we learn to read. That explains so much, Maya said. I always wondered how you could tell when I was upset. Before I even knew it myself. Your emotional energy changes, Kira explained. It becomes heavier, more turbulent. I could sense it the moment you walked into a room. Maya touched the bracelet on her wrist, which had been glowing softly but steadily since that first morning. And now I'm starting to feel that too, aren't I? How do you mean? Yesterday. When you were running late to meet me, I got this anxious feeling out of nowhere. Then 5 minutes later, you showed up apologizing for being behind schedule. Kira's violet eyes widened. You felt my anxiety? From that distance? I think so. It was weird, like suddenly having someone else's emotions mixed up with mine. The bond is strengthening, Kira said, sounding both pleased and worried. Maya, I need you to understand what this means for both of us. Maya leaned forward, giving Kira her full attention. On my world, bonded partners share everything, Kira continued. Not just emotions, but thoughts, dreams, even life force. If one partner is hurt, the other feels it. If one is in danger, the other knows instantly, no matter how far apart they are. That sounds intense, Maya said. It is. That's why the bonding ritual is so sacred. It's not something we do lightly. Kira picked at the grass beside her. My people believe that when two souls bond, they become stronger together than they ever could be apart. Maya was quiet for a moment, processing this information. What about your family? What are they going to think when you tell them? Kira's expression grew troubled. That's the problem. I haven't told them yet. Why not? Because bonding with someone from another species is unheard of, Kira said. My people study other worlds, but we don't form personal connections with them. We're supposed to observe and learn, then return home with our knowledge. But you did form a connection, Maya pointed out. I did, Kira admitted. And that makes me either a pioneer or a complete failure, depending on how you look at it. Maya could sense Kira's distress through their bond, a heavy feeling of guilt and uncertainty that made her own chest tight. What happens if you don't go back? I'd never considered that option, Kira said. My people are expecting a full report on human culture and society. I'm supposed to help them decide whether Earth is ready for official contact. This was news to Maya. Official contact? Like first contact with aliens? We prefer interplanetary? Diplomacy, Kira said, with a weak smile. But yes, my mission here is part of a larger evaluation process. Maya felt a chill run down her spine. And what have you concluded about us? That humans are far more complex and wonderful than our initial studies suggested, Kira said without hesitation. You're emotional, yes, but that's not a weakness. Like my people thought, your emotions drive you to create beautiful art, to help each other, to find joy in simple things. But you're also unpredictable and sometimes destructive. My people value stability and order. Human chaos makes them nervous. Maya laughed, despite herself. We do tend to be pretty chaotic. That's what I love about you, Kira said, then stopped, looking surprised by her own words. What you love about? Humans in general? Or what you love about me specifically? Maya asked, feeling heat rise in her cheeks. Both, Kira said quietly. Maya, before I came here, I thought I understood what it meant to care about someone. But the way I feel about you, it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. Maya could feel the truth of Kira's words through their bond, a warm, overwhelming emotion that made her heart race. Is that why you gave me the bracelet? I gave you the bracelet because the thought of leaving Earth without you felt impossible, Kira said. I knew it was selfish, but I hoped that maybe, if we were bonded, I could find a way to stay. Or I could find a way to come with you, Maya said, the words slipping out before she could stop them. Kira stared at her. You would consider leaving Earth? I don't know, Maya said honestly. A week ago, I thought the most exotic place I'd ever see was maybe Paris or Tokyo. Now you're telling me? There are entire worlds out there with crystal cities and floating buildings. It wouldn't be easy, Kira warned. You'd have to leave your family, your friends, everything you've ever known. But I'd be with you, Maya said. And honestly, the idea of exploring the universe is pretty amazing. Kira's emotions flooded through. Their bond relief, joy, hope, and something deeper that Maya was still learning to identify. You really mean that? Mean that I want to learn more before I make any big decisions? Maya said practically. But Kira, you've become the most important person in my life. I'm not ready to lose that connection, even if it means giving up your normal human life. Maya looked around the park at the familiar trees and playground equipment, at the ordinary suburban world she'd always known. What's normal anyway? A few months ago, my biggest worry was passing chemistry. Now I'm psychically bonded to someone from another planet. Do you regret it? Kira asked quietly. Maya closed her eyes and focused on the bond between them. She could feel Kira's uncertainty, her fear of rejection, her hope for acceptance. But underneath all of that was something constant and warm, a connection that felt like coming home. No, Maya said, opening her eyes. I don't regret it. What about your parents? Your life here? My parents will be devastated if I leave, Maya admitted, but they'll also want me to be happy. And they've always encouraged me to follow my dreams, even when my dreams seemed impossible. Traveling to another planet is definitely impossible by human standards, Kira pointed out. Good thing I'm not limited by human standards anymore, Maya said, touching her bracelet. Kira laughed, and Maya felt the sound resonate through their bond like music. You're taking this much better than I expected. Trust me, I'm still processing, Maya said. I've had time to think about it. And honestly, this explains so much about why I've felt so drawn to you from the beginning. What do you mean? I mean that I've never connected with anyone the way I've connected with you, Maya said. Maybe our souls recognized each other before our minds figured it out. That's very philosophical for someone who was worried about chemistry tests, eh? A few months ago, Kira teased. Being bonded to an alien tends to expand your perspective, Maya replied. So what's our next step? Do we need to contact your people? Kira's expression grew serious again. Eventually, yes. But first, I want to make sure you understand exactly what you're considering. If you come with me, there's no guarantee you'll ever be able to return to Earth. And if you stay here, I'd be abandoning my responsibilities to my people, Kira said. I'd essentially be going rogue. Maya could sense the weight of this decision through their bond. So we need to find a third option. What kind of third option? I don't know yet, Maya admitted. But we're connected now, right? That means we're stronger together than we are apart. Maybe we can figure out something that works for both worlds. Kira smiled, and Maya felt hope bloomed through their bond. You really think so? I think that if your people are as wise as you say they are, they'll understand that love and connection are valuable, no matter what species they happen between. If they don't. Maya reached over and took Kira's hand. Then we'll figure it out together. That's what partners do, right? 2 weeks later, Maya found herself sitting in her bedroom at midnight, staring at a device that looked like nothing she'd ever seen before. It was roughly the size of a tablet, but it seemed to be made of the same shifting crystalline material as her bracelet. Kira had called it a communication crystal, and tonight they were going to use it to contact her people. Are you sure you're ready for this? Kira asked, sitting cross-legged beside her on the bed. Once we make contact, there's no going back. My people will know that I've bonded with a human. Maya took a deep breath, feeling Kira's nervousness. Through their connection? Over the past 2 weeks, their bond had grown stronger. She could now sense Kira's emotions as clearly as her own. And sometimes she even caught glimpses of Kira's memories, dreams of crystal cities and silver skies that felt as real as her own experiences. I'm ready, Maya said. We can't keep putting this off forever. What if they order me to return immediately? Kira asked. What if they want to break our bond? Can they do that? I don't know, Kira admitted. It's never been attempted before. Maya reached over and took Kira's hand. Then we'll deal with whatever happens together. That's what we agreed, right? Kira squeezed her hand and nodded. Okay, let me activate the crystal. She placed her palm on the device, and it immediately began to glow with the same soft light as Maya's bracelet. The surface became transparent, like looking through water, and slowly, the image began to form. Maya held her breath as 3 figures appeared in the crystal. They looked similar to Kira, tall, graceful, with the same pale skin and violet eyes. But there was something more formal about them, more distant. They wore flowing robes that seemed to be made of starlight, and their expressions were serious. Kira, of the third circle, one of them said, and Maya was surprised to hear them speaking English. You have been absent from your scheduled communications for 14 Earth days. Explain, Honored Council, Kira said, her voice taking on a formal tone Maya had never heard before. I have important developments to report regarding my mission. Proceed, said another council member. Kira took a deep breath. I have formed a bond with a human subject, permanent life bond. The silence that followed was so complete that Maya wondered if the communication had been cut off. The 3 council members stared at Kira with expressions of shock that gradually shifted to something that looked like horror. You have done what? The first council member finally said, I have. Bonded with Maya of Earth, Kira said, gently pulling Maya into view of the crystal. She has proven herself worthy of our highest trust and respect. Maya felt incredibly self-conscious as 3 pairs of ancient, violet eyes studied her. She could sense Kira's anxiety spiking through their bond, but she tried to project calmness and confidence. This is unprecedented, the third council member said, and deeply concerning. You were sent to observe, not to ... integrate. I understand your concern, Kira said, but my observations have led me to conclusions that I believe will change how we view humanity. Explain, the first council member demanded. Kira straightened, and Maya could feel her friend's determination flowing through their bond. Humans are not the chaotic, destructive species our initial studies suggested. Yes, they experience strong emotions, but those emotions drive them to incredible acts of creativity, compassion, and growth. She gestured to Maya. Maya accepted me completely, even before she knew my true nature. She showed me kindness when I was struggling, understanding when I made mistakes, and love when I revealed my secrets. The capacity for such acceptance and growth is remarkable. One individual does not represent an entire species, the second council member pointed out. But the way one individual treats a stranger tells you everything about their character, Maya said, surprising herself by speaking up. And from what I've learned about your culture through Kira, character is what matters most to you. The council members looked intrigued despite themselves. Speak of our culture as if you understand it, the first one said. I'm learning, Maya replied. Kira has taught me about your values of connection, growth, and wisdom. Those aren't alien concepts to humans. We just express them differently. The bonding ritual is sacred, the third council member said sternly. It is not meant to be shared with outsiders. Maya isn't an outsider anymore, Kira said firmly. The bond has been completed. We are connected for life, and that connection has only made both of us stronger. Maya could feel the truth of Kira's words resonating through their bond. Over the past few weeks, she had felt more centered, more aware, more capable than ever. Before and through their connection, she could sense that Kira felt the same way. Show them, Maya said quietly to Kira. Show us what? The second council member asked. Kira nodded and closed her eyes. Through our bond, I can share my experiences with Maya directly. Let me show you what I've learned about humanity through her eyes. The crystal began to glow brighter, and Maya felt a strange sensation, like her memories were being gently pulled to the surface. She saw flashes of her life with Kira the day they met, their first real conversation, the moment she offered Kira a tissue when she was crying, the trust she'd shown by wearing the bracelet. But she also saw these memories from Kira's perspective, felt the wonder and amazement Kira had experienced at human kindness, the way Maya's acceptance had challenged everything Kira thought she knew about Earth's people. When the sharing ended, the three council members were quiet for a long moment. Interesting, the first one finally said. The emotional resonance is unlike anything we've recorded. Maya, the second council member, addressed her directly. Do you understand what this bond means? The responsibilities it carries? I'm still learning, Maya said honestly. But I understand that Kira and I are connected now in a way that goes beyond friendship. We're partners, and that means we support each other, protect each other, and grow together. And you're willing to accept these responsibilities, even though it may mean leaving your world behind? Maya felt Kira's sharp intake of breath through their bond. Actually, Maya said, I'd like to propose something different. The council members exchanged glances. Speak. What if instead of me leaving Earth or Kira staying here permanently, we created a bridge between our worlds? Maya said, Kira could continue her mission here, but with me as her bonded partner. I could help her understand human culture on a deeper level, and she could teach me about yours. You're suggesting a cultural exchange program? The third council member said thoughtfully. I'm suggesting that maybe it's time for our species to start learning from each other officially, Maya said. Kira has shown me that there's so much more to the universe than I ever imagined. But I've also shown her that humans have valuable qualities worth understanding. The bond between us proves that connection is possible, Kira added. Maybe it's time to explore what that could mean for both our peoples. The council members were quiet for several minutes, clearly discussing something among themselves in a language Maya couldn't understand. Finally, the first one spoke. This is highly irregular, they said. But the evidence of your bond is undeniable. Your proposal has merit. Maya felt a surge of hope through her connection with Kira. We will grant you an extension to your mission, the second council member said. 1 Earth year to continue your studies, with Maya as your official cultural liaison. And at the end of that year, Kira asked, we will evaluate your findings and determine the next step, the third council member said. If your research supports the possibility of formal contact between our species, we will consider it. And if it doesn't, Maya asked, then you will face a choice, the first council member said. But that is a decision for the future. After the communication ended and the crystal went dark, Maya and Kira sat in silence for a while, processing what had just happened. We did it, Maya finally said. We actually convinced them to give us a chance. We bought ourselves time. Kira agreed. But Maya, you realize what this means? You're now officially the first human ambassador to my people. Maya laughed, feeling giddy with relief and excitement. A year ago, I was worried about passing my driving test. Now, I'm an interplanetary diplomat, How do you feel about that? Kira asked. Maya looked down at her bracelet, which was glowing softly in harmony with Kira's emotions. Through their bond, she could sense excitement, hope, and a deep abiding affection that made her heart race. I feel like we're about to change the world, Maya said. Maybe even the universe. Together? Kira asked. Together, Maya confirmed, as they sat there in Maya's ordinary bedroom, looking out at the stars that no longer seemed quite so distant. Both girls knew that their adventure was just beginning. They had found something that neither of their species had thought possible, a connection that transcended worlds. A partnership that might just bridge the gap between Earth and the stars. The future was uncertain, but they would face it together. Bound not just by the bracelet on Maya's wrist, but by the choice they had made to care for each other across all differences. And in that choice, they had discovered something that both humans and Kira's people had been searching for all along. The true meaning of connection in an infinite universe.